All right, gentlemen, I just got this handed to me. A hit-and-run felony at Ray's Cafe, 208 North Los Angeles. Got a patrolman on site. The coroner's on his way. Get down there, see if you can find any witnesses who can put a make on the car.
Looks like the DA is going to press charges. Anna Rodriguez might do time.
I'll speak to the DA. She suffered enough.
I don't know, Cole. She's an easy make, and the DA likes convictions.
I'll convince him to let it go.
How do you do that?
I'll give him something better.
You're not as dumb as you make yourself out to be, are you, Stefan?
I didn't know I was making myself out to be dumb.
Detectives, over here.
Cole Phelps, traffic. What have we got?
Thick as a white male named Lester Patterson. Walked out of the bar and into the street. Car hit over there and he ended up here. Dead on impact by the look of it.
Have you canvassed the area?
The only one with anything useful to contribute is the young lady over there. She lives above the bar. Name is Shannon Perry. No, it's not a stage name. 24 years old, she left Kansas to follow the yellow brick road.
Is that so?
We'll take a formal statement later. Right now we're going to take a look around.
Look, I can't tell you how to do your job. I've secured the crime scene, detective. That's the procedure.
I landed on his face and ended up here. The car must have struck him from behind. We can notify next of kin. Patterson has life insurance.
Careful where you're stepping, Phelps. I don't come down to the station house and tap dance on your desk.
Body traveled a good 20 feet. So the driver managed to brake before the impact. This blood is a long way from the body. The car must have been going like a bat out of hell.
You should take a look at the body. Poor guy didn't stand a chance. I made a preliminary examination. You probably want to take a look, then we'll talk.
What have you got on the victim?
From all reports, he was intoxicated at the time of the accident. I'll know how intoxicated once I've done the autopsy. Looking him over now, I'd say he died on impact.
What about the chest wound? Isn't that inconsistent?
Very common in auto injuries. Look for a car with a prominent hood ornament. Those things are killers. Sorry, Phelps, do you mind if I get on with this? Maybe talk to some witnesses. We can discuss the autopsy report later.
You should be making progress, Detective. An accident like this could happen to anyone. I hope you catch the bum.
Gangway, Detective. I'll have some prints ready for your report if you let me get on with this.
She's all yours, detective.
Did you see what happened, Miss...
Perry, Shannon Perry. Yes, I live just upstairs. I saw everything.
Miss Perry?
Yes?
I'm Detective Phelps. This is my partner, Detective Bukowski. Can you tell us what happened?
Well, I came to the window because I heard people arguing downstairs.
Then what happened?
I saw a car hit that poor man and knock him down the street.
You were already at the window. You're nosy, aren't you, Miss Perry?
Do you want my help or don't you?
You weren't at the window. You were in the bar. What's a young girl like you doing alone in the bar?
That's a goddamn lie. Go away. I can tell you, the police in Shawnee County are a lot nicer than they are here.
What kind of car was it?
A dark red Lincoln Continental.
Did you see the license plate?
Only the first 3 letters, I'm afraid. 3C8.
It's pretty dark, Miss Perry. You sure about the car?
Of course I'm sure. My Uncle Bernie has one just like it back in Topeka.
Why are you lying to me, Miss Perry?
You've got rocks in your head. Why would I lie about the car? I need to go home now. I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Tell me more about the argument you heard.
Well, there were 2 voices. A man and a woman, that's all.
Go on. Go on.
Then a 3rd person, another man, got involved.
Why are you holding out on us, Miss Perry?
I'm sorry. I was hoping to tell my story to the newspapers. I'd like to get my picture in the paper. I'm trying to find work as an actress, and things are pretty difficult.
Cough it up, sister. We don't have all night.
The people arguing, they were husband and wife. I could tell by what she was yelling. Intimate things. Very embarrassing for the man.
That's a nice story, Miss Perry, but it's not what really happened.
You think I'm making this up? I'm not a silly little kid. I don't tell tales just to get attention. I'm afraid that's all I know. The poor man. I'm not feeling that well. I think I should go back upstairs and sit down. Detective, this might not be important, but aren't you at least going to try to catch the man that did this?
Thank you, Miss Perry. Your information has been very helpful. You can go now.
You really think so? I hope you find that driver and put him away.
It's in your best interest to work with the LAPD, ma'am. One day you'll find yourself in trouble and needing a cop.
You certainly got away with the dames, Phelps.
Give it a rest, Bukowski.
Let's see what the patrons have to say. You could use a phone in the back of the bar. Call in what we have on the suspect vehicle.
I need to run a partial license plate, 3 Charles 8. Cross-check possible Lincoln owners. Suspect vehicle is a red Lincoln Continental.
Just a moment, Detective. Only one possible make on that license. Registered to a William Shelton, 738 West Temple Street.
I need a list of dark red Lincoln Continentals.
Just a moment. This is going to be quite a list, Detective.
Cross-check for registered addresses. Top of the pile, anything from the downtown area. Around Bunker Hill.
One moment. Fred Murray, 120 South Olive Street, between 1st and 2nd Street. Harris Jones, number 1 Dillon Lane. William Shelton of 738 West Temple Street. That's all for downtown. You got that, Detective?
Looks like we caught a break on this one. Might call for some legwork, but it's better than nothing.
I'll take the bartender. You work the rest of the room. I'm Detective Phelps of the LAPD.
How can I help, Detective?
Your name would be a good start.
Dudley Lynch. Hired help. I run the place when the owner ain't around.
Where is the owner?
He stepped out. Somebody had to take Lorna, Mrs. Patterson, home.
What can you tell me about the accident?
Not a lot. It was busy in here, and all I heard was the impact.
Do you know the victim?
Yeah. Lester Patterson. He's a regular here, or he was.
So you didn't see what happened?
By the time I got out there, it was all over.
Why do I get the feeling you're holding out on me?
Lester and Lorna were having a fight. The owner made him take it outside. It was pretty ugly.
Why are you lying, Lynch? What are you covering up?
Is that the best you've got? You expecting me to confess to being the driver? I'd suggest you speak to someone who saw what happened. I'm about done speaking to you.
A witness overheard an argument.
Lester and Lorna. There's nothing like airing your dirty laundry in public, is there?
What was it about?
Who knows? The slightest thing could set those two off.
Leroy.
Leroy Sabo? The owner?
Thanks for your help, Lynch. I'm going to need you to sign a statement with the patrolman.
Sorry, pal, that's all I got. Even bartenders run out of gossip. You need to take this up with Leroy. I'm here all day. You want information, I'm your guy. No offense, fellas, but having cops hanging around ain't exactly good for business.
That guy has a serious attitude problem. You get anything out of the regulars?
They weren't giving too much away. They liked watching Lester and Lorna go a few rounds every other day. And Lester was a fan of the love tap.
So this is why everybody comes to Ray's. A knife covered in blood.
Could be a steak knife. This is a hit-and-run case, Phelps. Anyone could have thrown away a kitchen knife.
I'm sure Carruthers will confirm this as the murder weapon. Let's talk to Leroy. See him explain his way out of this. In any case, we'll want tech services to scrub the alleyway before they bag the knife. We've got a couple of leads to run down. You have it under control here?
Sure. As soon as the coroner gives the word, I'll finish up here.
We'll check in with you.
Okay. I'll get him onto a slab. Should have the report soon.
Thanks.
Let's get to Ray's Cafe. Take a look at the hit and run while the scene's still fresh. Might be worth working the scene again. Back to Ray's. We need to check in with the reporting officer, then Carruthers. Make sure we know all the details. There's evidence smeared all over the street, Phelps. You'll need to search the whole area. Witness statements next. We know we've got the girl as an eyeball, but we should check the bar as well. We've got to track down that Lincoln, Phelps. We find the car, and then we nail the driver.
Sure, no problem.
Stalling just makes us more inquisitive, Lynch. We'll get to the bottom of this, with or without you. So what was he doing outside? It's against licensing regulations to drink on the sidewalk. Why was Lorna Patterson in such a hurry to leave? What is going on here?
Lorna was pretty upset, so Leroy took her home. Lorna and Leroy are close. They've been talking about opening a new bar.
You know what they were fighting about, Lynch. Stop lying to me.
So now you know what I know? You a mind reader now? I thought not. Do you want to accuse me of anything else now?
How long have Lorna and Leroy been talking about this new bar?
Who knows? I just served the drinks.
You must have heard something.
Leroy plays his cards close to his chest.
Bartenders hear all sorts of things. Are you going to tell me, or do we have to start playing rough?
When Lester was drinking, he treated Lorna like dirt. He gambled away all their money. Lorna pitched Leroy about the bar. I don't know how interested he is.
Is Leroy doing well?
Hell no. The only thing keeping this place afloat are the poker games.
Is Leroy really going into business with Lorna? You sure you're not covering for her?
Me and Lorna? That man-eater? I wouldn't last a weekend with her. You're barking up the wrong tree there, partner. You finished scratching around? I've got work to do before I close up. You know the way out.
Not one of your favorite customers?
Lester was special, but not my kind of special.
Was Lester drinking alone?
No. He came here with his wife. She didn't seem too interested in the booze, though. I'm not trying to hide anything. Just if it's all the same to you, I'd rather not speak ill of the dead.
So Patterson just walked in front of the car and you saw nothing. Why are you lying, Lynch?
Any of the patrons will confirm I was here behind the bar when it happened. Can you prove any different? You better change your tune if you want anything more from me.
Don't let that asshole get away! That coward thinks he can run from everything. No wonder he killed someone, driving like this. He's heading into the station. Go on, get after him! Do you believe him?
I believe he didn't mow down the victim on purpose. The rest of it stinks. His boo-hoo story about being a surveyor and not wanting to lose his license.
Well, we'll see how he enjoys surveying the same tiny room for the next 10 years of his life. You make a mistake, you face the consequences. You don't run off and hide like some little girl hoping it'll all go away.
People make bad decisions in the heat of the moment.
Well, I'd like to see him try that one on the judge. If he had time to clock who was at the scene, he had time to make a choice.
It's not our vehicle. This thing's been gathering dust for months. Let's try the next one. Navy blue. The DMV gremlin strikes again. Let's get out of here, Phelps. That's the son of a bitch right there.
William Shelton?
Yes?
It doesn't look good, Shelton. You packing your bags and making a run for it? You know why we're here.
Yes. The accident.
We've got witnesses who can put this car at the scene, not to mention the physical damage. This is open and shut, Shelton.
God damn it! So much for our hit and run case.
Hold it right there, Shelton!
All right, I give up.
How does a vehicular manslaughter rap sound, Shelton?
I hit him. I admit it. I just panicked, but it wasn't my fault.
What do you mean?
The guy jumped right out in front of me. He came out of nowhere. There's nothing I could do about it.
Why didn't you stop?
I've had accidents before.
That's it. We're done here. The DA is going to love you.
They weren't all my fault. I'm a surveyor. I need my license for my job. There were people around. A woman and a man were standing right next to him. I thought they could get him to a hospital. I'm telling you, it's not my fault.
The guy is dead, Shelton.
You can't be serious.
William Shelton, you're coming downtown. We need to talk about a manslaughter charge.
You haven't heard my side of the story. Look, it's very unfortunate that a man has died. But it wasn't my fault. I want an attorney. I'm not saying anything more till I speak to my attorney.
Leave the coroner and the paperwork. Procedure can wait. We should probably go speak to the wife and let her know what's happening. So, initial report came back with an ID on our victim, Lester D. Pattison of 182 North Hope Street. Captain wants us there double quick.
Okay. You become all heart at the prospect of paperwork, don't you?
You think Mal is done with the autopsy? Better call it in and check, Phelps. Between the driver and the widow, I say we start dealing with the facts. It's a lucky break getting a partial ID. These cases are usually dead in the water after 24 hours if no one comes forward.
Why don't they just stop?
You heard about fight or flight during the war?
Sure. Never back your enemy into a corner. That kind of stuff?
Right. Well, in a hit and run, the perp is already in flight. It's easier to keep going. Takes a degree of moral courage to stop and accept responsibility.
So the wife was there when it happened, but then left the scene.
You're right. That's pretty unusual behavior.
She could be in shock. I saw some people do some strange things in the war after their buddies got hurt.
Maybe. Maybe she doesn't give a fuck. According to the patrons, her old man was a piece of work.
You don't think...
Phelps, the guy was run over. So it worked out well for this broad. So what? Maybe she deserved to catch a break. Who knows?
What the hell, Phelps? That was our driver, and he's doing a bunk.
No more running for this guy. Go ahead. You talk to him.
Yes? Hello?
Mrs. Pattison.
Is this about my husband?
We're investigating the incident, ma'am.
I see. Come in, won't you?
Can you tell me what happened?
What's to tell? He got hit by a car and now he's dead.
You don't appear to be too upset about the fact.
Lester and I met on a furlough in 44. We got married that weekend. People don't understand it now, but that happened a lot back then.
I see. So you probably did well to stick it out this long.
What's that supposed to mean, mister? I think it's about time you left. I have someone here, and I
beg your pardon? You're going to have to run that one by us again, sister.
We wanted to give you the facts about the accident, ma'am.
I appreciate that, but I think I know most of them already, Detective. He was hit by a car, now he's dead. What more is there to tell?
Pardon me, but you don't appear to be too upset about it. I see. So you probably did well to stick together this long.
Beg your pardon? You're going to have to run that one by us again, sister.
It's okay, Lorna. I'm Leroy Sabo.
Well, well. Nice to see you're comforting the grieving widow, Mr. Sabo.
All right, wise guy. Do you have any intelligent questions you would like me to answer?
You can confirm Mrs. Pattison's story.
Lester lost at cards. He was kind of hard to control when he lost his temper. He turned without looking and walked right out in front of the car. It wasn't good.
What's your relationship with Mrs. Pattison, Mr. Sabo?
We're friends. Good friends.
You expect me to believe that?
Look, I was filing for divorce. Mental cruelty. Lester could be a mean son of a bitch.
And Lester knew about that?
No, I hadn't told him.
Well, hasn't this worked out well for the two of you? I feel almost bad for busting in on this little rendezvous.
I'm out of here, Lorna. I got a business to run.
Looks like Lorna is missing a knife. Perfect match. This must have been one hell of a marital home. How did the car come to hit Lester? You were arguing in the bar and on the sidewalk?
We were always arguing. So what?
We're gonna need more than that.
Like I said, Lester was a great guy when he was winning. A really sunny, bright guy. Trouble was, he hardly ever won. And when he lost, he was an evil son of a bitch. All right. Lester was playing cards out back. He lost, of course, and wanted back in. He suggested I earn the money on my back to get a mistake. That was the proposition he was putting to his so-called buddies. So maybe I was a little angrier than usual. Let's just say I took exception to his idea.
Don't lie to me. Something was different this time.
You're clutching at straws. You married? The arguments are never any different.
The bartender said that you and Leroy were planning to go into business together. Can you explain how you'll get the money to do that?
I have a little money saved away.
I thought Lester gambled all your money.
I made sure he didn't get his hands on it.
Sabo has no money. This place can't be worth much. Where is the money coming from?
My father left me this house and some money. Lester took out a second mortgage. I held on to the money and kept my mouth shut. And that's all I'm going to say on the subject.
You're being economical with the truth, Lorna.
You want to back that up, little man? You really don't have any idea, do you? You're making a royal fool of yourself here.
You increased the premium on Lester's life insurance. GI insurance policies have a $10,000 payout.
It was Leroy's idea. Lester lived on the edge. He was always getting into fights, crap games, pinochle, you name it. Turns out it was good advice.
It speaks to motive and premeditation, Lorna.
You're forgetting the hit-and-run detective. I didn't love him, I admit it. But that's not a crime. You can only feel sorry for someone for so long before you begin to despise them. A woman can never find a man who wants to listen. You think I got nothing better to do? Beat it. You and your friend can get lost. I'm not giving you any more.
Lester could be a heel, but that's a lousy way for anyone to go out. You know, I don't really feel like talking to you right now.
You and Mr. Sabo have an interesting day.
I'm sure we will, officer. Now, if you could both just leave.
We're leaving, ma'am. Sorry for your loss. I can see what a tough time you're having with all this. We're leaving, Lorna, but this doesn't add up. We'll be keeping an eye on you. Come on, Phelps. Let's make ourselves scarce. Did Lester Patterson fall or was he pushed?
That's a very good question. Those two were obviously conspiring. But Lester's death was an accident.
Just one detective from the coroner. Message reads, Phelps, see me at Central Morgue immediately. Results of the Patterson autopsy.
We have the address. Let's speak to the next of kin. That Patterson place stinks in my book. We should really find out what's going on. Let's speak to the wife and get this over with. We need to prove the knife came from this house. We should go, Phelps. I've never felt less welcome in my entire life. The autopsy result might have come back. Call in.
He walked straight into the path of an oncoming car.
So he turned blind?
Yes. He was still yelling at me when the car hit him.
You expect me to believe that, Lorna? It's all very convenient.
Gambling for Lester was like the needle for a hophead. He was yelling at me. He was yelling at the whole world. I kind of felt sorry for the driver. Poor guy had no chance.
You're lying, Lorna. You pushed him in front of the car.
If you think you can prove that, I suggest you arrest me now. I would have loved to push him under a car many a time, but not this time.
Admit it. You were baiting him, pushing his buttons. We can easily get the full story from the regulars in the bar.
So there was some truth to Sheldon's cock and bull story after all.
He didn't stop, but he didn't kill Patterson either.
I'm no betting man, but I know where I'd put all my chips.
The grieving widow and her shoulder to cry on.
Now all we need is a murder weapon.
We can put the driver in front of a judge in less than a week.
You'd be making a big mistake.
Run that by me again?
The victim was dead before the car hit him. 2 puncture wounds to the right side of the thorax. Second puncture reached his heart.
You're kidding me.
Been doing this job 23 years, son. No one's ever laughed at one of my jokes.
He was stabbed to death?
Long, sharp knife, length of a bayonet.
So the hit and run was a cover-up.
I'd say he was stabbed twice at very close quarters. Both wounds thrusting upwards and then pushed in front of the car.
Easy, Tiger.
Clever, really. I almost missed it. but the trajectory of the wounds was all wrong if he was impaled by the hood ornament. Find the knife, detectives.
Yes, sir. We found a knife in the alleyway.
Where is it now? Was it bagged?
By Patrolman Kaplan.
Perfect. I'll get you a definite match.
Jesus, we got him. Murder one. We were right there and they tried to stare us down. Now they'll both get the gas chamber. Back downtown for the autopsy report. Let's see what the coroner makes of Lester Patterson. The body is 90% of our evidence, Phelps. We need to see what Carruthers has to say about it. The full report will go into the case file, but Carruthers could probably give you what he has now if you go talk to him.
We've spoken to the coroner, Mrs. Patterson. He confirmed your husband's cause of death. We'd like you to come downtown and answer some questions.
It wasn't me. It was Leroy's idea. Leroy stabbed him. I had nothing to do with it.
Where is Leroy now?
He's in the bedroom.
You're very good, Lorna.
Put the gun down, Leroy. If you do something stupid now, you don't stand a chance in front of the grand jury.
Nice of you to give me up, sweetheart. All that whispering in my ear telling me how we had to get rid of him, how good it could be, all the money we could claim, all that planning, how to get him into the street, how to make it look like an accident. You had all the bases covered, baby.
For God's sake, Leroy, shut up! I had nothing to do with it.
You think I'm gonna fry for you, Lorna?
He's a crazy man. Shoot him! Shoot him, for God's sake!
You look spooked, Phelps. I thought you'd been under fire before.
It never gets any easier, Bukowski.
We have the knife, we have the coroner's report, and I bet we could roll Sabo as a witness. Let's bring her in. Come on, Phelps. Patterson is guilty. All we have to do is bang on the door and pinch her. I say we do it clean and fast. Hit her with the evidence and pack her off to Central. Go.
You guys back again, huh?
We just wanted to check the crime scene over one more time, Mr. Sabo, if that's all right.
Can you be quick about it? Cops are bad for business.
Really? We'll tiptoe, Sabo. You won't even notice us.
Leroy Sabo, you're under arrest for the murder of Lester Patterson.
Not gonna happen, fellas.
Go! I'll bring the car around and head him off. He's making for the roof, Cole! The fire escape, quick!
It's too late, Sabo. Sabo, stop or I will shoot. Last chance to surrender, Sabo.
You know what bugs me? Someone still hit that guy and didn't stop. As soon as the address on that red Lincoln comes through, I'll send a prowl car to bring the driver in.
Have patrol pick up Mrs. Patterson.
It all comes back to the crime scene. We need to hit Ray's one more time and trawl for evidence. You remember what the coroner said? We don't leave Ray's until we find the last piece of that puzzle. We should speak to Leroy, just so he knows we're sniffing around. You're the bloodhound, Phelps. See what you can sniff out. All right, step by step, check every inch of ground. The knife is cause enough to pinch Leroy. Let's get inside and ask him what it's doing in his trash can.
So, I give you a hit and run. You bring me back fraud, conspiracy, and first-degree murder. This is how a good detective operates, Phelps. You take nothing at face value. You keep digging and asking questions until you get to the truth. You got some sharp elbows on you, detective. I like that. Keep up the good work. No, detective, no. You just keep your goddamn mouth shut and listen to me for a second. One complaint? I can keep that in a drawer. No one has to know about it. 2, 3, even 4 complaints. I can square that with the board. But a full fucking dozen? Harassment, destruction of public property, conduct unbecoming? Jesus Christ! You better get out there and bring me a fistful of street crimes if you want to keep your badge. Pickpockets, parking violations, I don't give a fuck. Just get out of my sight.